Welcome to your weekly update on the world of sportsman drag racing here on the Sportsman Racing Rundown. I'm your host, Justin Hutto, and this week we'll start off like we did in the last episode. We'll touch on some stories outside of race coverage from this past race weekend, and then we'll go into highlighting finalists from last weekend's NHRA Division III race at Beach Bend Raceway in Bowling Green, Kentucky, the IHRA Sportsman Spectacular at Maryland International Raceway in Mechanicsville, Maryland, and the Working Man's 10K race at Wagner Motorsports Park in Lyons, Indiana. The biggest stories of the week are naturally going to come out of the biggest race of the year, the U.S. Nationals in Indy. Racing is already underway with a pretty big delayed start to qualifying on Wednesday due to rain delays and parking difficulties. But after day one, number one qualifiers in stock and super stock were Gary Summers in stock, going 1.808 seconds under his index in his U-Stick 77 Mustang. And in super stock, Ernie Neal goes 1.748 seconds under the index to take number one in his super stock P automatic ride. Steve Camilla also started off the race in number one in the Hemi Challenge with the 8:48 lap at 156.68 miles per hour in Q1. On Thursday, day number two of the 2019 U.S. Nationals, class winners and stock eliminator were crowned. So here we have a list of all the class winners from Thursday. Going forward in the weekend, a big sportsman story you want to pay attention to is Jimmy Daniels in the Hemi Challenge. This 23-year-old has won the Hemi Challenge 3 years in a row, and he's putting his winning streak on the line this Friday during eliminations of the famous Hemi Challenge. This is also a big weekend for top dragster and top sportsman racers, as this is the first time they've been allowed to compete at the U.S. Nationals. It's currently a very tight national points battle in top dragster, and Ross Therice is the only one of the top 5 players that's entered into this race. It's also a tight national points battle in one of the classes that I compete in, Competition Eliminator. Both the number 1 and number 2 players are entered into the race. They have identical points claims, and they're only 13 points apart, which is equal to about 2 rounds of racing. Now let's jump into last week's race action. So first up, we'll highlight the annual Division III race the week before Indy, the Battle at the Beach at Beach Bend Raceway in Bowling Green, Kentucky. In top alcohol dragster, Troy Coughlin Jr. grabbed the win over Julie Natas.
Troy's in. Off of the top ball, but Julie moving it back into the groove, man. It's Troy getting the win.
In top alcohol funny car, Ray Drew beat a red lighting Kirk Williams.
By start Kirk, 20 thousandths of a second too quick at a 5.66 lap at 258 miles an hour. But Ray Drew picks up the win yet again.
In Comp Eliminator, Scott Chambers got away with a 1:35 reaction time to win the final over Robert Bailey.
Shamda's going to get the win, 674 at 180 miles an hour, 665 by Robert.
In Super Stock, Irvin Johns took the win over the 21-year-old Tyler Bohannon, who's appeared in 4 final rounds in a row, but hasn't quite sealed the deal on the streak he's been on. But big picture, being on a final round streak is not a bad streak to have at all.
Off and running. Age and treachery, youth and skill. Right now, I will tell you that youth and skill went 008, but age and treachery wins at the finish line.
In Stock Eliminator, Ken Friedman drove his in-stock automatic Malibu to a win over Shane Smith.
The tree ain't going to go green for a minute. And Shane finally does. Kenny Friedman, runner-up earlier this year at Columbus. Can he put the deal together here at Bowling Green? Win-line stripe says yes, he can. 12:54, 004 on the tree.
In Super Comp, Tony Elrod took the W over Sherman Adcock.
We are off and running. Tony trying to join Jacob. Standing in the way, Sherman Adcock. Can it be 2 Elrods? Yes, it can.
Then in Super Gas, Tony's brother, Jacob Elrod, takes the win over Bo Butner.
We are off. We are running. Bo Butner, Jacob Elrod. Elrod left, Bo right. 5 thou difference between them, and Elrod's going to get the win.
In Super Streak, Nick Vogelsang wins his first NHRA divisional by 5 thousandths of a second over Denny Naper.
There goes Nick. High rolling it to the other end of the racetrack where the throttle stop will kick in and he'll slow down. And he gets the win doing so.
In Top Dragster, Danny Nelson took the win over Joe Fisher.
For RacingRVs.com, Joe Fisher trying to put a Wally on the mantle, not going to get it done. Comes up 21 thousandths of a second short. Danny Nelson, 6:18 on his 6:16, picks up the win.
And in Top Sportsman, Ron Biondo took the win over Lester Johnson.
Comes down, Ron Green, here comes Lester. A little bit better out of the gate, Biondo. Lester at the stripe, can't close the deal. He runs 15 on a 10.
The Division III Moser Shootout was also contested in Bowling Green, in which Danny Wadle Jr. took the win over the young Allison Pros. The next race we'll cover in this episode is the IHRA Sportsman Spectacular at Maryland International Raceway in the fitting town of Mechanicsville, Maryland. The Sportsman Spectacular is a great touring bracket race series by IHRA that provides 2 days of racing, and on each day, IHRA pays $5,000 to the top ET winner, $2,500 to the mod or no box winner, and $500 to the winner of the junior dragster class. On Saturday, Willie Hess Sr. from Hughesville, Maryland took the $5,000 win in top after J.C. Largent from Mechanicsville, Maryland turned it 13 red. Seth Phillips from Montpelier, Virginia took the win in mod after Dickie Bodmer from Frederick, Maryland turned it 14 red. In the junior dragster class, Nick Schricky from Ridgely, Maryland took the win over Ashley Pumphrey out of Waldriff, Maryland. On Sunday, Michael Shoup from Hagerstown, Maryland ripped off a 007 light to take the win in top ET over Robbie Parlett. John Matera from Waldriff, Maryland took the win in mod after Keith Birch red lit by 2 thousandths of a second. And finally, Jordan Kinney out of Manassas, Virginia rounded out Sunday winners with the win in junior dragster over a red lighting Austin Keys of Nanjamoy, Maryland. The final event we'll cover this week is Jake Hodges' first annual Working Man's 10K race out at Wagner Motorsports Park in Indiana. In Friday's 2K to win gamblers race, Jason Folk took the win over Lester Atkins.
It looked really good. 0,000 separating between the two. The winner's going to be with the brake lights on, Mr. Jason Larry Smoke Folk. He is 17 up front and dead 5, taking 4 thousandths of a second.
In Saturday's 10K race, Rich Kamor took the W over Tony Atkinson.
Atkins is going to tell us who's taking home the big jump.
And 1 thou is going to separate these two. How about a win light to the high roller no box car, Rich Komar.
He's dead.
And in Sunday's 10K race, Mark Buttram won over Rob Fisher.
Here we go. The most green 5 thou separator. Win light is going to go to Mark Buttram. How about 13 dead on 0?
That is a wrap for this week's episode. As always, congratulations to the featured finalist, and I'll see you next time for the Sportsman Racing Rundown here on Competition Plus TV.
All right, so Rich Locker is pre-stage. Jimmy Daniels is pre-stage. Can this kid go 3 for 3 and maintain an undefeated streak? Look at the crowd of people gathered behind the 1968 Dart on the Chevrolet side of the drag strip. Here we go. It's the final of the Dodge Hemi Challenge. They're off. Reaction time advantage goes to Jimmy Daniels, but he spun the tires. Rich Locker is playing the on time. Undefeated streak remains intact.